Hello and welcome to this month's Q&A. If you'd like to get your question answered in a Q&A like this one, then head on over to us.fm/Sharmalade and I will do my best to answer your question as long as it's not too rude. Question number one is in, I think it's German. It is German. So I had to translate it with Google Translate and it says, which fashion brand do you like best? Do I look like I know anything about fashion? I have the worst fashion sense ever. As soon as I hit like 23, I turned into a frump. And I don't know why. I just don't have any good instinct when it comes to fashion. I hate shopping. I hate clothes shopping so much. I'd rather just go on Amazon, see something that I like, because more often than not, if I actually go clothes shopping, I can never find what I've got in my mind. So I go on Amazon and I'm like, that's what I want, and then I order it and then I'm like, oh no, it's coming from China and I've ordered like my size and it's going to be like a size -20 because they're very petite there and I'm not petite, I'm very curvy. So I have terrible fashion sense. I can't even name one brand that I can name brands but I don't like them, like Puma, is that still a brand? Is that even clothes or is that bags? Nike, Adidas, or hang on, Nike or Adidas, I don't know how you even say it. I'm not clued up with fashion, guys, I'm really not. What questions do you hate to answer? I don't know. I think sometimes, okay, so I think the questions that I'm just a bit like, are questions about food. What's your favourite food? Because I feel like I've answered that question a million times. But it's not you guys' fault, it's because I've got a 12-month backlog, so people just don't even know that it's been answered yet, probably. But just generic questions like that. And I like questions that to do with music and the voice, and I don't get enough questions like that. I like questions about video games, but yeah, I'm not into the whole, what's your favourite colour? What's your favourite food? What's your favourite song? What's your favourite movie? They're really difficult questions. Who can answer those? Oh my god, my hair. I tried to sort it out last night and it's just gone. Do you think money can buy happiness? Now, Ian and I were having this conversation the other night in bed, and we was saying about how obviously money can buy a sort of sense of happiness. So in regards to comfortability and not having to worry about bills and things like that, it can bring a sense of, I guess it's a more stress-free lifestyle. But then I think you'd have to come from a place of not necessarily poverty but working class to be able to appreciate the stress-free side of it once you perhaps come into money. Because if you've always lived a life of luxury, how can you ever really appreciate it when you're not struggling anymore, if you've never had to struggle before? And Ian and I have been from one side to the other and we've had like kind of a roller coaster, which I guess is quite normal really. We went through a stage of not really having much money at all and really struggling, and now finally we're in a position where we don't really have to, everything's covered. We don't have to worry about things like that anymore, and it feels good because we knew what it was like to struggle before. And all of my family are working class anyway, and growing up it was always, you know, you hand the clothes circulate between the grandchildren and the age differences, and I'd get my brother's clothes. Such a tomboy growing up. I'd get his like Transformer stuff and he never had to wear my My Little Pony stuff, thank God. But in regards to money buying happiness, I wouldn't, it's a strange way to word it. I'd kind of more say it buys a sense of comfortability and stress-free situations. What makes you sad? Right, so mostly things. I know, I watch so much true crime, so much, and it doesn't, I love the psychology behind it. That's what I find intriguing, what made what led that person to that point to commit that crime. I just find it fascinating, and if I could go and study it at university, it's something, it just really, it fascinates me as much as music. I love the psychology of the brain and why people do things and say things and act the way they do. But even though I watch all this true crime and I see all these crazy, horrible, scary things that happen in the world, nothing saddens me more than animal abuse, because I don't know how that makes me come across, because, like, you know, humans and children, I mean, it's horrific, some of these things that happen, but there's something about an animal being hurt intentionally that just makes me die a little bit inside. And I think it's because there is a saying, and it's something along the lines of, you can tell the calibre of a person's sort of essence and their soul by the way they treat an animal. And I think if you can do, I mean, I'm not going to go into certain things that really, really upset me, but if you can do those horrific acts to an animal, what the hell could you do to a human? And I think it starts at that point. Attacking and hurting something so utterly defenseless that doesn't even have words to communicate upsets me to the very essence of me. Getting emotional just thinking about it, some of these things is just horrific. But I am a bit of an empath, and I do take on emotions, other people's emotions, and I start to feel them as though I'm in that situation, and I find it very difficult not to go down the rabbit hole with people's situations. If I get bad news, I tend to take it on, think about it, and think about the situation. It's like a, what do you call those things where there's like, you start off with one bubble with like a topic in it, and then you get a line come off of it with other bubbles. I start doing that. It's brainstorming, isn't it? I start brainstorming situations outside of that and situations off of that, and that's why I don't watch the news. I try not to get too heavily involved in politics because it affects me, like physically and emotionally. I just take it on too much. But then why is it that I can watch so much true crime? I don't understand. It's like from one scale to the other. I don't understand my brain. Hi Sharm, I've noticed you sound quite posh, like being from London area when you're speaking. However, do you use American flap cheese, new, what the hell, instead of new, what, for new R's in the end of syllables like erotic accents? Do you change your accent intentionally? Why? Really interested in that one, thanks. What have you written? What have you written to me, and how am I supposed to understand what you're writing? Now I've got to Google this. New. Let me go to a new Google tab so I'm not on my translation one. So I've typed in, well, I copy and pasted the nui. What did you even write? Nui? New. New is showing me some kind of, is it K-pop boy band? So I'm guessing that's not what you meant. And what's Nuju? For new? Oh, wait a minute. However, you do use American flap T's instead of for new R's. Rotic, right, what's rotic accents? Sounds like something to do with the feet. Rotic. A rotic accent, for instance, in Los Angeles or Edinburgh, is that spelled right? Edinburgh is one where R can be heard in all the places where it is found in the spelling, and a few extra. Look up the American pronunciation of the word colonel, for instance. Colonel. So in a rotic accent, the R is heard in both car and park. Why wouldn't it be heard? It's part of the word. What, so when would you not use, so car, park. So what, so you'd say cat and pack. Right, I need to Google this. I need to investigate this further. Right, how do you say colonel? Let's look that up first. Pronunciation of colonel. Oh, hang on, what's this? It's showing me all about the military rank. Ready?
Colonel.
Colonel. As in the same way that you'd say a popcorn kernel. Is it popcorn? Sweet corn? Oh my god, my brain is... You've broken me. You've actually succeeded in breaking me. I actually can't figure this question out. I've written reread the erotic accent thing and I don't know what he's saying. It's just saying the R's are pronounced. I pronounce my R's. I don't understand what the... I don't change my accent intention. This is how I speak. And I don't think I'm posh. See, my dad came from Peckham and I came from Kent and South East London, and you've got Essex quite close by, and they all talk like this, and they all say things like, "You alright? How you doing? Is everything okay? Because I really need to know." It's literally like a day in the life of Made in... No, that's the other programme I watch. The Only Way is Essex. And they've got these accents that are just really, really pronounced, and they say all of... I don't know, it sort of goes into the back of the mouth. And T's and H's are like that. If you say mouth, they'd say mouth with an F. And I am a little bit common sometimes, you know, like when you say things like, well actually I do say butter, but it's easy to sort of go what rather than what, if you know what I mean. And my Cockney accent does come out a lot when I'm angry, like having a go at Ian, or passionate about, like if I really get into something that I'm talking about and I can't believe it, and I'm, you know, like when your voice raises, my Cockney accent will start to come out a little bit then. But I'm gonna read up about this erotic thing because I don't know what it is. What did you write in your bio on Facebook? There's a new edit thing on Facebook. Check it out. I haven't used Facebook for the longest time, so I don't even know what I've written. Did I write something about an eagle? I literally haven't been on Facebook for years, and the reason why is because I was not happy with them. Years ago, Ian was going away. He goes away every year. He goes camping with the boys, and I set up my Facebook Messenger app thing because it was at a point where you know, you couldn't use the Messenger on your phone on the website. You had to download that extra little app thing, and I got it, and it was night. It was bedtime. I was in bed, and people started ringing me on my phone. I didn't know who they were. A majority of the calls were coming through from India, and people started talking to me that I didn't know, and it's because it had something to do with my mobile phone number had been linked. I don't know what happened, but people started ringing me, and I was laying in bed thinking, what's going on? How are people calling me? So I instantly deleted the app, and I have not been on Facebook or the Messenger app since. I haven't got the Messenger app. I refuse to put that on my phone. And the only time I think I've been on Facebook is to post about BlizzCon, so you know, I'm so proud of that, and a couple of other things, maybe like a song that I've been like really proud of that I wanted to share with everybody. But aside from that, I do not use Facebook. I don't like it. Another thing that put me off is that I had my Sharm page and I was actively using it, and I was really enjoying it. And I think I got to like 5,000 likes or something, so I had a lot of people over there, and you know, it started doing this thing where it was like, I would post something and it would say, this is going to reach, you know, this X amount of your liked people. Do you want it to reach more? Pay that. And I was like, but what's the point? People have come over to this page to like it, to see stuff that I'm posting, I presume, and you're restricting who my posts go to, and it's like, give you money? It's not happening. It's not happening, mate. Describe the moment when you change your mind about something or anything and being a new person with new rules and ideas. This one's a pretty easy one for me because, and it's a bit of a deep one, so here we go. Hold on to your seats. When I was about 24, maybe 23, can't remember, I had severe anxiety, really bad, and it actually made me agoraphobic. I think I've told you guys about this before. It's probably got lost somewhere in a vlog or a Q&A, but I had really bad anxiety, and to the point where I became agoraphobic for 2 years, and I didn't leave the house. I couldn't even, it was so bad, I couldn't even put the rubbish out, and so all I had was my online community, which is why it's such a huge part of my life to this day, and always will be. So I had my online community, games, and that was it. That was my life. That's all I had. I didn't see anybody. I didn't do anything for 2 years. And I remember sitting there and one day and just thinking, I'm like in my 20s, I'm struggling so much every day with just feeling completely afraid for no reason, and like having panic attacks and just out of sorts, not myself, just a complete shadow of myself. And I got to a point where I knew I had to do something. And when you get stuck in a rut, it is the hardest thing to get out of it when you are the only one that can get you out of it. Doesn't matter how much support you get from family or friends, you are the only one who can get yourself out of it, and it is the hardest thing to do. It's like climbing up wet mud walls. You just keep slipping back down again. It's easy to always take an out, you know, if someone says you don't have to do it, just, yeah, okay, I won't then. And I remember one day I was sitting there and I was thinking, right, I've really got to change what's going on in my life, or else this could be me forever, and I don't want this. I wasn't happy. And so I had been applying for jobs, but I wasn't ever going to the interviews. I was too scared. I would just bottle it at thelastminute.com. So there was one job that I knew I really wanted, and it was working at Game. And it was at this flagship store, which basically means it was one of the biggest game stores in the area. Like, so the busiest, the biggest, just everyone would go there. And I put in an application to work there, and I got an interview, and I was just like, you can't back out of this, you have to, you know how much you want this. And I went to the interview, and came out of the house on my own, got on a bus, went to the interview, and I felt so surreal. The whole time I felt like I was in a dream, because I just wasn't used to the sounds. Everything felt so loud and like in on me. And I remember coming away from the interview and just feeling absolutely exhausted. Like, it was draining. Just something that could be so normal for somebody else was utterly exhausting. And I came home, I think I just got into bed and went to sleep. I just was like, I'm so tired, I'm so drained. And I got the job and I started working there, and I kid you not, okay, 2 years of being agoraphobic. It took me 1 week of working there. I remember the first morning waiting for the bus thinking everyone's looking at me, and literally thinking about everything to the finest detail. Should I get my money out now for the driver? Should I look at him or her when I get on the bus? Who do I sit? Where do I sit? Who should I sit next to? Everyone's going to think that I'm weird, and just way too much like overthinking everything. It went from that on the first day to the Friday thinking, where the hell's my bus? I'm going to be late for work. Like, the change was so quick. And I will say I did have 6 sessions of, is it CBT, cognitive behavioural therapy, and I had this girl called Sarah. I had six sessions with her, each one hour a week at my local GP. And I remember walking up there the first time, and when I got into my appointment with her, it was so hot, I left my coat on. Like, I didn't want to take my coat off. I was just so insecure, massively insecure. Couldn't look her in the eye or anything. And I said to her, you need to put me on medication, because I am struggling. I just feel constantly like someone is holding my gut in their fist and twisting it. She said, no, come on, let's talk about what's going on. So we chatted and we chatted and we chatted, and at the end she said, you need to start going on a walk on your own. Started doing that, and I remember sending her an email after I got my job at Game, just saying thank you so much, like, you completely changed my way of thinking. And it was just, she was incredible. I wish I knew her full name. I don't. I'd never be able to find her now, but things have changed so much. And from the question where it says when you change your mind about something or anything and being a new person with new rules and ideas, I can tell you now, I was about 23, 24 when all that took place. I'm 35 now, and it probably took me to the age of about 31 to be completely comfortable with my anxiety, and understanding that it's not every time you try and push against your anxiety and go, no, go away, I don't want to feel you, I don't want to know about you, go away, it comes back with a vengeance. The best thing you can do is, when you're feeling anxious, is go, it's part of me, that's part of my personality, that's part of who I am, People can't see anxiety, but if they know about it, more often than not, if they're a decent person, they'll be cool with it, they'll be understanding. And I never try and push against it anymore. I feel the anxiety, I accept it, and I just go, okay, I'm feeling a bit anxious today, what a bummer. Bummer, but it's going to go. And I think ever since I started to accept it, it's just a personality trait, just like happiness, sadness, laughter, anxiety, it's just part of who you are, who I am. It just makes it so much easier to deal with. And I hope that that little story and that little bit of insight can help you as well if you're suffering with anxiety. It's not going to kill you, and it's not going to, it might feel like it's just crashing down around you, but it will always pass, and it is a part of you. Just accept that that is a feeling, it's just a feeling, just like sadness, happiness, laughter, and it will pass. Yeah, that's my little bit of Sharm wisdom today. Anyway, so I totally rambled on, lastminute.com, and I've still got 3 more videos to film. So I hope you enjoyed this Q&A, and if you'd like to get your question answered in a Q&A like this one, head on over to ars.fm/Sharmalade. Have a wonderful week, everybody, and I will see you soon for the next React Sharm or Q&A.